Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. To get ourselves a treat.
Ready, steady,
Player
let's
one.
get it.
Ready, steady, spaghetti.
When I texted you that, I was like, dude, he's gonna be like, what the fuck did you call my mother? Because like that was like a disgusting, like that the way it read was terrible.
Ready, steady, let's get it. No, I got it.
Oh, did you?
Oh yeah, of course. Who do you think you're talking to?
I thought it looked stupid.
You're the king. I'm the king of like abbreviations and slang. Come on,
Okay.
cut. Come on, cut.
Just had to bring that up.
Mm-hmm. And I said six SETI. Get it? As like,
Yeah, but like I was about to be like, dude, that's copyright material.
Okay.
Six City is copyright, dude.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic.
You're fantastic.
Today's a good day, man.
Is it a good day? Why is it a good day?
It's a busy day, but you know, it's a good day because I'm feeling good today. I'm in that mood, dude. I'm in that zone.
You're in that zone?
Let's
You know, our last two episodes were really good. The Comic-Con one and the one before it were really good.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear. We're gonna make it
Yeah.
turkey, dude.
There are some days, you know, where we're just on it, and then other days where we're not. But we were on it the last two episodes, so...
Yeah?
Go fuck yourself, San Diego. I do the cha-cha like a sissy girl.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
News might just be something I love.
Back to you, fuckers!
Yeah, this we don't have a lot of news or anything, because usually the week after Comic-Con is the slowest week of anything.
Yeah.
You know, because they just busted their load. It's like...
Hey, you know what? We got some stuff
Yeah.
on here. I mean...
Yeah, we got some stuff. We got some
yeah,
stuff.
some big news here.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But you know, Comic-Con kind of busted its load, and now this is like...
Today, it does feel real slow.
It does, compared to that. But I was tired last week, though, I will admit. I was getting fatigued after a while. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Let's end. But it was still good, though. It was still good. We were still on
Dude,
it.
by the end, I'm just dying.
Yeah. So, before we get started, though... Or actually, let's just get started right here.
Yes.
Rest in peace to Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's the man. That's the boy.
Yeah, I didn't notice. I didn't see that in the news actually until like you sent it to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man.
Yeah, from Blade Runner.
Yeah.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Let me tell you something, man. Like that monologue. First of all, you know, that monologue was in the script, obviously, but he added like most of it and omitted stuff from the original monologue to kind of make it his own. That monologue is basically his. Like, he came up with some of the best lines. Like, the tears and rain.
Yeah.
Like, that was him, dude.
It's such a good scene. It's such a
It
good
is.
scene. He's such a good tragic character.
He is. He's one of the best, probably villains or anti-villains, maybe you could say, ever.
Yeah.
In film. I
Yeah.
mean, it was fantastic.
In his 4 years of living, he understood humanity better than almost anyone in that movie, in that world.
And that's what made it so great.
Yes.
You know, that's why that film is so underappreciated. And there's so many different versions of that film. And the version without the voiceover is the best one. You know, because the voiceover kind of ruined the
I think that's just
the power of that moment.
Is that just the original version?
I think it's the original, yeah, when the studio chopped it up and were like, oh, no.
Yeah.
You know. But,
Yes.
yeah, it was fantastic, dude. And, I think, how do you pronounce his name exactly? Because I did have a hard time. I think it is Ruger, because the T is silent, right? Ruger Hauer, that's probably?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think
So, his friggin' soliloquy of Roy Batty is freaking, like, it has its own Wikipedia. Dude, that's how, like, the Tears and Rain monologue is so special.
Yeah, I forgot he was in a Hobo with a Shotgun. He's the main character.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Hobo with a Shotgun. You know, that was a film, a trailer for Grindhouse that Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez had, like, a contest for a trailer, like a trailer contest.
Yeah.
To put it as one of the fake trailers, and that trailer won.
And so they're just like, screw it, let's make a movie.
Yeah. That's what. Yep. Yeah, he's been in a lot of movies. Nighthawks, The Hitcher, Lady Hawk. I'm looking it up right now. Blind Fury, The Blood of Heroes, Dangerous Mind, Batman Begins, The Right, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Okay.
Yeah.
Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. My bad.
Hey, we watched that together.
Say what?
We watched that together.
Confessions of a Dangerous Mind?
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Rockwell?
Oh, yes, we did. Yes, we did. That was a good one.
Yeah.
George Clooney directed that.
Yes.
Yes. So anyway, yeah, rest in peace to Ruger Hauer.
Rest in peace.
I mean, he's,
Unfortunate.
may you see the C-beams in the 10 Hauser Gate. See what I did there?
Yes.
Okay, that was good. Rest in peace. Thoughts and prayers to him and his family. So, all right. Let's go into some other interesting news here. You know Andy Serkis, right? You like Andy Serkis? You
Of course.
You know he's been dabbling in some directing lately. He directed
that Mowgli movie, right?
that Mowgli movie, yeah.
Yeah, that did not do so hot. Well, it kind of makes sense for him to jump into a movie that is destined to fail, I suppose. Oh, that's terrible. But Venom 2?
Venom 2, yeah. He's in talks right now. Andy Serkis potentially directing Venom 2. I'm sorry, hold on. Venom 2. You know?
Yeah.
So,
damn, why would he pick that project?
I don't know. That the money.
Yeah, that. Or he just really likes the character.
Maybe, but I mean, you know what makes that character great though? His relationship with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And you can't
do it without
can't do it. I was at a comic book store a couple days ago, and this guy behind the counter, he's friends with David and Mitch, who I was with, and he's like, Venom was fun, and I'm like, was it though? Like,
it wasn't fun.
It was?
That was a chore.
Yeah, I'm like, was it? And he's like, I mean, it ain't the best movie, but you gotta admit it was better than Topher Grace. And I'm like, eh. He's like, look me in the eye and tell me like it wasn't as good as Topher Grace. And I looked him in the eye and I'm like, Topher Grace is better. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yes, because the mindset behind Topher Grace was they took the inspiration from the Ultimate comics, right? Mm-hmm. Where instead of this hulking mass, Venom was more of just like a dark mirror to Peter Parker, where he was almost the same guy with the same build, but he was evil, basically. As a matter of fact, in the movie Spider-Man 3, they call him Edward Brock Jr., and that's his name in the Ultimate Universe, not in the normal universe.
Yeah.
So they took inspiration from the Ultimate Universe, which they probably shouldn't have done. The only thing the Venom movie got right, and you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Amazing Spider-Man thing. The only thing the Venom movie got right was his size. Yeah. He was huge. He was kind of like a Hulk. I'm like, okay, that's it though. Eddie Brock is nowhere near what Eddie Brock is like in the comics. The symbiote.
He kind of looks like Carnage. Topher Grace's look.
Yeah. No, but I'm talking about what is it? I'm talking about Tom Hardy's Venom.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing they got right was the size of the Hulk. And that's it.
Yeah.
Because Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock is not Eddie Brock from the comics. The frickin' symbiote is not the symbiote from the comics. In the comics, we talked about it, the symbiote doesn't have a voice. It doesn't talk to you. The symbiote just influences you. And that's what makes the symbiote so scary, is because you don't know why your personality is changing. The symbiote kind of takes hold of you like that. It's like a parasite.
Yeah.
It's not a friggin' entity that talks to you, that has its own personality. And but that's it. And it reminds me of the Amazing Spider-Man, because I remember when the Amazing Spider-Man came out, people were like, "This is gonna be so much better than Sam Raimi's movie because they have web shooters now."
Really, that's gonna make the difference?
I'm like, that makes the difference. I'm like, that's it. They're like, yeah, man, you got web shooters. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, okay, but the Peter Parker and the Spider-Man is just not Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And they're like, yeah, dude, but guess what? Web shooters. And I'm like, okay.
You can't. Unfortunately, you can't argue with certain people.
Yeah,
there was, when Venom first came out and people were talking about it at my work, they were like, it's not that great to today's standards in Marvel movies, but it's pretty good for early 2000s one. I'm like, yeah, but that's a bad argument because that's not the time we're living in.
No, that's a bad thing. That's a terrible. I used that in my Stardust review as a negative. I'm like, this movie would have been good in 2004, and I meant that as an insult because it is an insult.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, though, man. You know why Venom is great, though? Because they got his size right this time. He's big.
Size matters.
Size matters. That's right. That's right. So, Venom, greatest movie of all time because they got his size right and nothing else right. Literally nothing else right, but his size is right.
Yeah, dude. Amazing Spider-Man 2 in particular is the best because web shooters.
Web shooters, dude. Web shooters. I mean, yeah, the movie was like complete garbage and Electro was like horrible and the Green Goblin, I mean, what the hell was that? But...
Web shooters.
Web shooters, that's right. Best movies ever.
Oh, yes.
So, Andy Serkis directing Venom 2, maybe? That's interesting.
Yeah, that doesn't make me excited.
No. Hopefully he can bring something to it, but I don't know. You know what's crazy is that when I was looking up Avengers Endgame, you know, highest grossing films of all time, on Box Office Mojo, I think Venom was like number like 20 or something like that, and I was like, man, that's crazy. And you know what's crazy though? I looked up the domestic and international grosses for Venom. If you went just purely by domestic, Venom would have flopped. It made only $200 million, quote unquote, which is how much the movie cost. So they would have barely broke even, which is kind of like a flop.
Yeah.
You know, but the international dude straight up skyrocketed. Like China especially just like loved Venom.
I'm curious what the Chinese trailer looked like.
Yeah, right.
They sold it. I kind of want to look that up later. But I got a question for you.
Yeah.
If he's directing it, do you think that he's gonna mocap Venom?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen. He's probably gonna mocap. That might make the action a little more comprehensible.
Yeah.
Because what was that in that movie? That
was fucking bullshit.
It was like two sludge monsters like fighting each other.
Oh yeah.
And they were both the same color.
That was the big problem.
Yeah.
At night too, and they're dark. Like what the fuck?
Why would you choose Riot out of all the Venom villains? Why not use like Lasher, who's like green, or Scream, who's yellow? Why Riot, who's freaking gray? Come on.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, that movie was bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
That was bad.
Real bad.
Let's talk about a movie
that was our number one last year.
It was worst movie. Oh, yeah, both of ours. Yeah. Venom. Mad Max. Sequels. Two Mad Max sequels and Furiosa spinoff. Curiosa. That's her in college. Curiosa spinoff happening with George Miller attached.
Yeah. Awesome. Can't wait.
Except it's not going to happen for like 10 more years probably. Knowing George Miller.
You mean the next one won't come out for like another 10 years?
Probably. Just knowing George Miller, that's like his whole thing. Like, I mean, it took him forever to get Fury Road made. First it was a video game, then it was this, then it was that. And he didn't even write a script, he just storyboarded the whole movie.
Huh. I don't even care what the story looks like. Give me bullshit. Just give me more of that action.
Yeah, dude, it was so good.
I'm game for it.
That movie is so good, Fury Road.
Just like, I want it to like literally just cut into the middle of like a road, like a chase, and then just the movie just keeps going for an hour and 45 minutes.
No, exactly. Just take any hour and a half of time, just pluck it out of that universe, and it would be fun. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 Mad Max sequels and a Furiosa spinoff. How do you think of Furiosa spinoff?
I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
I thought she was a good character.
Yeah, she was a good character. She was kind of almost the main character in Fury Road, in a sense.
Of course, I think George Miller, as minimal as his stories can be for Mad Max, I think he's always doing something a little bit different with it, and I think that was the case for this movie.
I like their partnership a lot.
I do too.
Do you think that a movie with just her without the Mad Max to anchor her is... do you think it's strong enough to hold her own movie?
Maybe. I mean, honestly, like, again, if you deliver that kind of action, I think we'll flock to it. Like, I think we'll kind of ignore who the main character is and just be like, okay, this is cool.
That's true. I just want to see more of that world, man.
I do too.
I just want to see more of that world, like crazy, like cities and...
I mean, we got to see like an entry point of like the like how it began and stuff like that. But I kind of want to see like where it go, like where the end point is. Is it just gonna start rebuilding?
Yeah.
Is it just gonna? Are they just gonna all die out? Like, I want to know.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy. I'm looking forward to it though.
Absolutely.
If George Miller ever gets around to friggin' making it,
those will be top 5 movies for me in those years. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I don't know if they have a release date for them yet, but it should be great no matter what.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is all the news we have.
That is all the news we have.
Ooh.
So let's go to...
Coming soon to a theater near you.
Trailer trash.
Sometimes we just need to do it
Yeah.
because we miss it.
Yeah, that's right. A beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Oh, I bet you ate that shit up.
I ate that shit up, baby, with a freaking silver spoon.
Yeah, I did have a smile on my face during that trailer.
It was so good, dude. Tom Hanks embodies Mr. Rogers, dude.
Oh yeah.
So well.
I just think if we didn't see that documentary, I don't think I would have had that same reaction.
That's true. That is true. They are kind of banking off the documentary, as they usually do.
Yep.
With all this stuff. But that being said, I still think damn, I'm on board big time.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
I'm very cool with it. Mitch brought up an interesting point. Mitch was not very happy on the trailer, and he loves Mr. Rogers. Mm-hmm. Because it was weird. In his Stardust review, he's like, it looks like they're taking a more serious route with it, which he doesn't know how he feels about it. But I'm like, well, that's kind of Mr. Rogers. Like, he's always kind of had a serious element to it. You know, it's kind of interesting. But then he elaborated. He's like, he doesn't like the plot device of having a reporter, you know, kind of flesh out that story for you. You know, that's kind of a cliche to have that in movies where you got the reporter and you're following the reporter as he's doing a story on the guy who the movie's about, you know.
It would have been so much better, I think, to use, like, episodes to do it.
Yeah.
Especially since there's so many episodes that, like, embodies what's going on in the real world.
True. A lot of famous episodes, like when Robert Kennedy was assassinated and stuff. And,
yes.
Yeah, obviously the little disabled boy and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it could have been like a Steve Jobs type format, where it's kind of like behind the scenes before the episode.
Yeah, this is the thing with biopics, man. We've talked about it. Is like the format needs to change, and I'm kind of glad they're not doing the, you know, birth, life, death format. You know, they are kind of just doing like the reporter format where you're seeing Mr. Rogers through the eyes of this reporter kind of thing.
Yeah,
but I mean that's been done too before, though. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
And but that being said, I mean, I the emotion just caught me though of the trailer.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, I was like, damn. Just like when frickin' Tom Hanks is just like delivering these lines as Mr. Rogers, I'm like, ooh, eating it up.
I really like the subway scene too. And
singing
it to him.
It was good. It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So.
I think it looks good. It's directed by the woman who did Can You Ever Forgive Me? And you know, with Melissa McCarthy or whatever as the.
Oh yeah.
Who was nominated for a bunch of stuff. I never saw it.
Neither have I.
But I heard it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So gives me some faith.
There you go.
Yeah. Do you know you know the Lonely Island?
Yeah.
You know Andy Samberg's rap group.
Yeah, sure.
She's married to one of those guys.
Really?
Dead serious. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. So yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
It does. It does. I'm looking forward to it. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Harriet Tubman?
Yeah.
Harriet
it's
Tubman.
It's just Harriet.
It's just Harriet, yeah. About Harriet
Tubman.
Tubman.
Yes.
Looks good.
I was definitely more sold at the beginning of the trailer before like the kind of like like the modern R&B music came in.
Yeah.
I don't like when they try to like modernize it like that. Like 12 Years a Slave like completely like disregarded like our own time period.
Yeah.
And I think that best suited the film.
Right. Of all films that I've seen like these, this does look like one of the better ones. But you know what this kind of reminds me of? These type of slavery historical dramas. This kind of reminds me of Free State of Jones. You remember that movie that Gary Ross did with Matthew McConaughey?
I didn't see it, but
I didn't see it either. But you know how it just kind of came and went? It's kind of like a smaller scale film that's just whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and this is kind of hitting me on that.
That was kind of like
a little bit.
That was kind of like Birth
of a Nation.
Yeah, that movie came like I saw the trailer and I'm like, this is gonna be like everywhere when Oscar season comes around. It didn't get nominated for anything.
It was nowhere. It was
like,
absolutely
people were
nowhere.
like completely whatever on it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was kind of mixed reviews. So I was like, you know, I feel like we've seen a lot of these films before, but it is interesting to see Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad, because I'm sure there have been movies made about the Underground Railroad. I'm sure there have, but I don't know of any.
Yeah, I don't know any off the top of my head.
You know, the elementary school I went to, I don't know if I want to say it on a podcast, even though no one really watches, so they won't really care. So I'll say it, Beacon Tree. I don't know if you heard of that elementary school. It's way down in Shelby.
Oh, okay. No.
And the Underground Railroad kind of went through that part of Michigan.
Really?
Yeah, so that's what Beacon Tree was. That they called it the Beacon Tree, like the tree that was there in the Underground Railroad. So when you saw that tree, you knew that you were at the end or in Michigan or something like that.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah.
That's real cool.
It is cool. Yeah, and it was pretty cool history. I like the Underground Railroad. I like Harriet Tubman. They had a Harriet Tubman reenactor come into Beacon Tree and talk about the Underground Railroad.
Oh yeah.
In elementary school, yeah, because of
That's
that.
neat.
Yeah, I remember when they planted the new Beacon Tree, all the news was there, So and we all had to sit or stand in the parking lot while Channel 7 was there watching the new Beacon Tree getting planted. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So you're kind of an expert on this stuff. So when you see the movie, you'll know it.
I'm not an expert in any way, shape, or form, but I think it's cool. That's just one of those subjects where I'm like, why haven't they made a movie about it? Even though I'm sure they have, I've just never heard about it. I'm like, well, yeah, they should make a movie about the Underground Railroad.
Oh yeah, as we hear a train go by.
The Underground Railroad was not actually a railroad.
Yes.
Just letting you guys know on the podcast. Please know that. I hope they know that.
Yeah, so I'm sure this movie will be fine enough. I don't think it's going to be great.
It seems like a movie that might be good, but
kind of like a Hidden Figures.
Yeah.
It was kind of modest.
Yeah, modest. But even Hidden Figures got some attention, though.
It did get attention.
This kind of looks, and I'm not saying it's going to be not great because Free State of Jones did not get good reviews. I'm saying it's more of it's getting more, it just has that feel where it's just going to kind of come and go like that film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hope it doesn't. I hope it gets real good, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So
we'll never know. But
everything else, the acting and cinematography look really good. So
sure, yeah.
All right, let's talk about Jojo Rabbit. Okay, so you ate that shit up, didn't you?
You think I ate that shit up in a good way?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
No.
I thought this had your name written all over it. Taika Waititi?
Yeah, but I don't know. The subject, man.
Yeah.
I can't. Oh.
But it's a satire, though.
Yeah. I actually read the premise before I even saw the trailer because it's gonna be playing at TIFF. I was looking at ticket prices and stuff. Holy shit! If you want to see everything, $1,500.
Yep. Crazy.
Whoa. But yes. Wow. Yeah. I don't know, man.
You don't know? I
don't know, man.
I mean, what, do you think it's gonna be offensive to who though? Offensive?
I mean, not. It's just
you don't like
that. It's weird to paint a picture
of Hitler in kind of a positive light in a sense.
That's it.
Yeah, no, I get it. That is true, but Taika Waititi's Jewish and he's playing Hitler, so that's probably the satire right there. Apparently, and this has been all over the posters, all over everywhere, it's an anti-hate satire. Mm-hmm. I'm not exactly sure what that means. But I mean,
just making an anti-hate movie with Hitler in it is kind of
it's
I don't know.
Yeah, and you're painting Hitler as this kind of jovial. I understand that the kid doesn't, because he's a manifestation of obviously the kid's imagination, but the kid doesn't understand what Hitler is, and he's painting Hitler the way he thinks he is, mm-hmm. which is this nice guy. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Is this how the subject matter is weird? How are you going to make this a lighthearted anti-hate Taika Waititi movie?
I've
with Hitler in it.
I've thought about it and I can't see it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think. See, it's funny because I thought you were going to love it and eat that shit up. I was kind of lukewarm on the trailer. Mm-hmm. I was like, it looks all right, but it just kind of looks weird.
Yeah,
I didn't like that gag.
Curiosity is definitely getting to me.
Yeah.
Because like I saw Death of Stalin, and I mean that's not nearly as bad. Mm-hmm. And the way that they treated it was kind of it was appropriate for a satire.
Yeah.
And this I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's painting Hitler in any positive light though. I'm sure when we see the film we'll understand it. I have a feeling Taika Waititi knows what he's doing.
Do you know what the movie's even about?
No.
Like the little boy finds a Jewish girl hiding in his attic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hiding from the Nazis?
Yeah.
Okay. So where does his imaginary Hitler come from? Just him.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know that part.
Yeah. That's the thing about Taika Waititi, man. It's like this is why I was nervous about him doing Thor: Love and Thunder and bringing in female Thor. I was just looking up female Thor the other day, and it's like it's a dark story, man. Mm-hmm. It's dark because she has cancer, and whenever she's Thor, her being Thor removes the cancer from her momentarily, but it also removes the chemo that she got. So every time she becomes Thor, she basically dies a little bit more. So it's kind of tragic, and I don't think we just talked about this. I don't know if Taika Waititi can capture that dark side or that more serious, dramatic side. That was one of my biggest criticisms about Thor Ragnarok. They kill off these characters that I personally have known and loved for a while because I love the first Thor movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, you're gonna kill Fandor, you're gonna kill the Warriors 3 just like that, not even mention it.
Yeah.
Like Odin just dies, and it's like there's really no emotion to it. I'm like, that's it. Like there's no.
That's totally fair.
Yeah,
And that's probably part of the reason why people didn't mind it, and people like this one a lot more, is because they don't like the first couple Thor movies.
Yeah, which is crazy to me because I love the first one. I feel like they want it, but that actually Mitch also kind of mirrors that sentiment. And he's like one of the only people I know. And I like Thor Ragnarok. I do. I think it's very fun. I just think it needed a little bit more drama to just anchor the movie a little bit. Especially when Odin, that's his dad, dude. He just he dies. And then
Yeah, that was like my biggest gripe with the film. When people I like the movie enough. Like I like the movie decent amount. Like I give it a high 7.
Yeah.
And my brother's like, how do you not love this movie? This is like the best movie they made. And I'm like, yeah, dude. It's just it's kind of like a romp.
Yeah.
They're just kind of gonna throw away this tone when the Avengers came out.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because they really didn't do it especially with Fat Thor.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
they wanted to stay true to Taika Waititi's version of the character. And it's like, I get it, but I mean,
at least the way that they did it is Fat Thor is honestly his own character.
Yeah.
Thor that's not Thor anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't mind that they made Thor more lighthearted, but yeah, I'm glad that you were a little you gave Ragnarok more of a 7 than everyone else was praising the crap out of it. One other thing is that the exposition in Thor Ragnarok was a bit too much. Almost every scene was just explaining something about the history. There's even one part where Hela straight up breaks the ceiling and there's a whole thing that she has to explain. And I'm like, okay, this is just exposition heavy. Exposition dump, kind of like in Far From Home.
Yeah.
Except it happened much more in Ragnarok. But, anyway, we're getting off track a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Point is, Taika Waititi, he doesn't balance drama and comedy well. He's very good at comedy. But I don't know if he can balance drama with it very well. So this seems like a very heavy movie, a heavy subject matter. So
yeah.
Can he pull it off? Find out next time on Taika Waititi's special TV show.
Find out 15 episodes from now. It's like a Dragon... Because when we finally get to see the movie...
Yeah, it's true.
Like Dragon Ball Z. You just gotta wait for him to charge up the beam. Just... Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude. I watched... I used to watch Dragon Ball Z as a kid.
Yeah.
And Mitch loves Dragon Ball Z. I remember we were watching an episode once at his place. I totally forgot how much dead space there is in that show.
So much.
There's so much dead space in that show. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, filler. So much filler.
Apparently because they were following the manga.
Yep.
And the thing is that they would make the show much faster than the manga would be made. So they would just have to fill in that the gaps and fill in all this put in all this dead space so that so the manga could catch up with them.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Kamehamehas, dude, lasted 3.5 minutes just to charge it up and then finally blow
and
it.
that was 3 episodes.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But all right.
Next up,
But probably biggest trailer, I guess you could say. Zombieland 2, Double Tap, directed by Ruben Fleischer, who directed the first Venom movie, and he did do the first Zombieland though. So
yeah.
and the writers are back.
Do you like Zombieland?
I do.
I do too.
Yeah, I think it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's fun.
I don't know if it warranted a sequel.
I definitely did not warrant to see.
But we're getting one 10 years later. I can't believe it's been 10 years. That's insane to me.
Yeah, they better have a good explanation for why these characters have been roaming around for 10 years and like they're still like scavengers.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it is a zombie apocalypse.
They didn't decide to like set up a society or anything like that.
That's true. Well, it looks like there are some societies, like Rosario Dawson is in it, and like more human characters seem to be in it than the first one.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like there are some societies that they're probably going to be. Maybe they just didn't want to. Maybe they got kicked out of a society. Who knows?
Yeah.
But they're going to the White House. You telling me no one else went to the White House though?
No one's chilling there.
No one else is chilling there.
Oh, I'm sure people have been there. Like, they should just come into a room and it's just like graffiti to like, and it's like stuff just like completely worn out.
That's true. I hope they don't get political with their jokes. The fact that they're at the White House kind of led me to be like, is there going to be like a political thing here? I hope not. I really hope not.
I don't really see it.
Okay, well that's good.
Not from a zombie.
Not from Zombieland. Yeah, no, I get you. But I do like the characters. I like the interplay between Tallahassee and what's Jesse Eisenberg's character's name? I can't remember.
I don't fucking remember.
I don't know either.
It's been a long time.
It's another city, but yeah, both of them. I like their camaraderie. I like the whole chemistry between the whole gang.
Yeah.
You know, I miss that. I still can't believe it's been 10 years, dude. Time freaking flies.
I wonder if that's gonna change now because now Abigail Breslin's like grown up.
Yeah, that's the thing though that kind of I'm a little nervous about is like we're doing that plot. That's so cliche. The whole I'm not a little girl anymore. I'm a woman now, and then she goes off on her own, has her own adventure. Everyone else has to band up to try and find her, and then whatever. And you know how this movie's probably gonna end? She's gonna be like, "If you love me, you're gonna have to let me go," and then she's gonna go out on her own. I guarantee you. That's how it's gonna end. So.
Wow.
I
hope it's not that bad.
I hope it's not that bad either, but you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it kind of looks alright, I guess.
Looks funny.
It just, I don't see why we needed it.
Mm-hmm. Some people were complaining, saying they're harping too much on the comedy, more so than the zombie horror or whatever, but I like that, though. I think that's where it should go.
Yeah.
Because the first one I thought was more comedy than horror, really.
There was no horror.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, they just, like, made fun of, like, how they killed zombies.
Yeah, I know,
how
right?
resourceful they can be, how creative they can be.
They have an old woman dropping a piano on a zombie, bro. Like,
yeah.
You're saying that the first one was less comedic? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you need to rewatch if you think that.
Mm-hmm. But, I think it looks good. I like Zombieland. I probably don't love it as much as other people.
Yeah.
But I'm still looking forward to it. It's weird, though, that we talk about how the hype is dead for, like, Avatar because it's been 10 years, but the hype... I've heard a lot of people, especially, like, Mitch and David, who talk about this film, and they're like, man, like, we gotta get that Zombieland sequel.
One of my coworkers, I didn't know what she was watching.
Yeah.
Until, like, I heard, like, Shoot to Thrill playing, like, the Easy Easy song, and then when I went to go watch it at home, I'm like, oh...
Yeah. So people have been clamoring for a Zombieland sequel, so it's finally happening. And it's I mean, the hype is still there for those characters, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that film was much more memorable than Avatar. Because Avatar was good on a technical basis, but on everything else, it was kind of flat.
Yeah.
So you notice that we almost shit on Avatar now in like almost every episode.
Yeah, you don't even hate Avatar.
I don't even hate Avatar. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, Zombieland 2 looks
alright.
You know. I don't know if they released the cast list, so it's not really a spoiler. But I don't know if I should tell you. But you can probably figure it out. There's a character who's coming back.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray's coming back. Yes.
Yeah, we knew it.
He was in the cast list. So
we totally were like, hey, wouldn't it be really cool to have him as a zombie? Like cameo.
Yeah, that would be great. You know who else is in it? Dan Aykroyd.
Really?
Yeah, he's in it as well.
Woo!
So
what?
Yeah.
Oh no! The Ghostbusters bit is gonna happen.
You're right. It's gonna be funny.
Oh no! No, you know what? I know exactly what's gonna happen.
What's gonna
happen?
happen?
It's the same fucking scenario with Bill Murray, and they kill him, and then it's just the two of them walking together. And it's
that would be fucking hilarious.
Oh,
they just do the same thing with Dan Aykroyd.
Dude, and he's gonna go off. He's gonna be like, "I loved all your movies, man."
Yeah.
And literally the same bit.
Yeah.
That actually wouldn't be too bad.
That would be funny. That would be.
Dude, put me on there, dude. Get me in the writer's chair.
Yeah, come on, Paul Winnick and Rhett Reese.
Yeah, your boy's out here.
Boys out here. That's funny. Damn.
So, yeah.
Double tap.
That's our trailers.
That's our trailers.
Don't leave now, the movie's about to come on.
Excuse me.
Hey, theater. What do you do when you get stuck on a movie line with a guy like this behind you?
Wait a minute, why can't I
just
give my
maddening.
opinion? It's a free country.
And you haven't seen anything this week?
I have not. Wait. No. Wait. Nope.
All right.
I told you, man. This year has been terrible.
Do you mind if I talk about some stuff?
Talk about it all, man.
Yeah, we'll try to make some of this real quick because I mean I don't really think too many people care about Attack the Block.
Oh,
John Boyega,
Joe Cornish movie, whatever.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
That movie was actually a lot better than I expected.
Really?
It's actually real decent. It was a little weird starting out your characters as like thieves and stuff like that. They're like real scumbag characters.
Mm-hmm.
But they kind of use that to its advantage as it becomes kind of like a theme that this alien invasion is kind of like karma to them and stuff like that. And which I think they utilize really well. But yeah, it's just it's a weird blend. It's like a sci-fi movie, it's a horror movie, and it's like a comedy.
Yeah.
And it's not particularly like good at either one of those things.
Okay.
But like as like a breed, it's fun.
Yeah.
Like it's real fun. Like some of the gore is like completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like a dude gets his nose like eaten off.
Oh god.
And it looks real goofy.
Okay.
But it's not like funny at all. Like I didn't think it was funny.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it wasn't like enjoyable.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of strange that like it just had like kind of a thematic purpose that I didn't really see it needing at all.
Okay.
And of course, if you didn't know, Edgar Wright was backing it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, him and Joe Cornish are.
Yeah, no, Nick Frost is in it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some fun characters and stuff like that, but yeah, there was a comparison that I made at one point. I can't remember what it was, but it was like the Gremlins. It's like almost like a John Carpenter meets Edgar Wright movie.
All right.
So
That's
if that sounds fun, I guess there it is.
You know, Joe Cornish did that movie, The Kid Who Would Be King, about like King Arthur or whatever. That movie. I forgot that movie even existed. That movie even come out? Like, I don't even know.
Oh, yeah, it did. It came out in, like, January, so it was, like...
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Meant to be, like, not seen.
It's kind of reminded me, like, remember that movie Captive State? Remember that movie came out? Nope.
I don't remember that one at all.
Yeah, we talked about it, like, a ton, like, trailer. And the movie came out and just went.
We talked about a trailer for Captive?
Yeah, Captive State.
Oh my! I know exactly what movie you're talking about.
Yeah, with John Goodman in it and like.
My coworker, he sees like everything. And he saw it. He said it was whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
Just what we expected.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good movie. I'd give it like a high 7 actually. Like
high 7.
I'd totally watch that movie again.
Okay.
And next up, I got nothing to base this one off of. So
okay, go ahead.
I saw The Farewell.
Oh, that's out?
Yeah.
Damn, I wanted to see
I saw it at Main Art with me and Mark, and it's good.
Yeah,
it's good. It's
really
kind
good.
of mismarketed though.
Really?
It's a very like downer film.
Is it?
It's not. Yeah, it's not as upbeat, which I thought was interesting because you have this premise where this girl wants to spend time with her grandmother before she ends up passing away, and there's just not a lot of memory making in it. And this is the interesting part about it is the fact that it spends a lot of time trying to convince you of like why we don't tell people that they're about to die, because you want them to be happy during, you know, this process of death. And when it spends all that time doing it, it just doesn't really feel like it believes in that.
Yeah.
And I think by the end of the film, I think it's kind of like maybe we've forgotten where this tradition comes from.
Okay.
It's been there for so long, and maybe we don't actually know why we do this type thing. And yeah, for the whole time I'm like, why are they trying? It's not very compelling. Of like, it's not really, the debate is not there.
Yeah.
I'm like, why do they keep doing this instead of like, you know, because it's very delightful when it wants to be. I think Awkwafina.
Yeah, how is she?
She's real good. She's real good, and the grandmother is great too. Mm-hmm. So like, they really carry that film, and when they're together, it's just a blast. It's delightful, and everything besides that, it's very dour and like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's it's a weird blend, and I don't necessarily think that it pays off entirely, because like I said, I don't think it necessarily believes in what it's kind of preaching.
Yeah.
But I liked the movie. Yeah.
Okay.
I liked it. I'd give it like a high 7.
All right.
It's just not as good as I expected it to be.
You know, I was at a wedding recently. I was the best man for my friend's wedding, and his his wife's sister, so his sister-in-law, came up to me. We were talking about movies and stuff. She's very nice and very kind of blunt and very forward, rather, I should say. She's very forward, and she was like, we were talking about movies or whatever. I was talking about Endgame and how it's beating all these records, and she's like, you know, the Farewell beat it. I'm like, the Farewell beat Endgame?
It beat it like on that week where you can barely find the film.
Yeah.
That's what it beat.
And I'm like...
It beat it when everyone else already saw it.
Right, so. Yeah. And I'm like, Endgame beat it. I'm like... Or she's like, Farewell beat Endgame. And I'm like, okay, not really. Endgame's been out for like 2 months, and everyone's seen it, so obviously that film like beat it now, you know. Yeah. But it was just very strange. She's like, isn't that crazy? This little independent film beat, you know, Avengers Endgame, and I'm like,
no,
Avengers Endgame is literally the highest grossing film of all time. Like, it's just such a weird statement.
That's really.
But obviously,
strange.
I didn't want to be like, no, you're wrong, you know, whatever. I was just like, yeah, it's crazy, man, it's crazy. You know?
That's great.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
I really don't know. See, we had a lot to say about it. This is why I want to get my friend on here, because when we go see movies, we have really interesting dialogues about it.
Yeah.
But now I've kind of like forgotten like what we were just talking about. He brings up some really good points. But I think that he came to see it where I was coming from. Uh-huh. As just like the way that they kind of spend their time is kind of a waste in my opinion.
Yeah, we should get Mark on here. I like Mark, so
we're gonna get him.
All right, let's get him.
Week.
Mark mentioned. Wait, what?
Mark mentioned.
That's never happened before. No. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have
last one?
Last one. Go ahead.
Once Upon a Time
in Hollywood. Okay, I'm seeing this film today. You made me a lot more nervous to see it now, though.
Okay, I'm saying that your mom won't like it.
Do you think I'll like it?
I think you'll at least like it.
Okay.
I don't think you'll love it.
Okay.
But I really liked it.
Okay.
But I really liked it. I know you're not... I don't think you're as big of a fan as I am of Tarantino, probably.
No, probably not. I like him. I like him a lot.
I think his movies are really tight, as like a score rating wise. I think my least favorite movie of his is kind of a unpopular opinion.
Oh, it's an unpopular opinion. Can I guess Jackie Brown?
No.
Kill Bill?
Volume 2.
Yeah, I don't like Kill Bill Volume 2.
Yeah, I think it's such a cop-out. A lot of the scenes that we were waiting for.
Yep. That movie did not need to be 2 movies.
Yeah, it really didn't.
It really
didn't. But,
because I actually really like Kill Bill 1.
Kill Bill 1 is a blast.
Yeah,
Kill Bill, so good.
Kill Bill 2, I just felt like grinded everything to a halt, and I was like, okay, now I'm bored. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, so that movie's great. This movie is really good. I definitely don't think it's as consistent as his last few films. There's a lot of like blank space, but talking to you, I think that you feel the same way about Hateful Eight.
Yeah, in what way?
Like, there's a lot of blank space.
There is a lot of dead space, a lot of stuff like that. But I actually like Hateful Eight more than a lot of his previous films. But there is a lot of dead space in that. There's just the thing with me and Tarantino, not to take it away from you, is like, I like Tarantino. I do. I like his personality. He defends films, like superhero films and genre films, where everyone else is shitting on him.
Yeah.
And I love the guy for it. And apparently he's super fun to work with, super nice. So I love the guy. But as far as his films are concerned, I think it's not even his films. I think it's the people who like blindly lay praise to him no matter what he does. I feel like him more than any other filmmaker almost has that kind of fan base where people who haven't even seen most of his films like represent him. And I was at Target the other day, no joke, and the girl was wearing that yellow tank top that said written and directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
This girl was like 17. I wanted to go up to her and be like, name 4 Quentin Tarantino movies. I wanted to go up there and she would have not known.
I bet she would have known all of them.
Yeah, that would have been great. And then I would have been like, all right, I like you. I'll take you under my wing.
Yeah.
I'll mentor you. No, that sounds narcissistic. Like I can mentor anybody. I would lead you right to the ground.
So, but I do think that
career-wise, not literally.
I think there is a reason to kind of have that dead space in Hateful Eight because you're in an isolated area.
Yeah.
It's literally the dead of winter.
Yeah.
And in this film, it shouldn't be like that when you're in Hollywood.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
it's a very fast-paced town.
It should be a very fast-paced film. And no, it's really not. Although I do think that his, like, recreation of like that time period is awesome.
Yeah, I hear it's amazing.
I like that he used 35.
Yep.
Awesome.
He always does.
It looks great. I just think that he kind of like at a lot of moments put writing on the back burner. I was really scared at the first 30 minutes of this movie.
Really?
It really struggled to find its footing. It's very exposition heavy. It's explaining like everything that's going on with like Leo's character, and this was interesting.
Yeah.
Sharon Tate lives next door to Leo's character.
They revealed that in the trailer.
Yes, so I don't think that's like a spoiler.
Right.
They don't really have her talk that much, but I think that's kind of appropriate because like you're giving lines to a character, a person that has passed away and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe he doesn't like know her all that well to like make those kind of like assumptions.
Plus he has a connection with Roman Polanski, so I don't think he would want to, whatever.
Yes.
So
so it's a little interesting because the first time that you see her and Roman, they go to a party.
Roman's in it? Roman's okay.
Not a lot though.
Right, I imagine.
Yeah, so he they go to a party at the Playboy Mansion.
Okay.
And they walk through it and stuff like that. You really can't hear anything that they're saying, but she's talking to some friends and stuff like that. And then she goes up and dances, and then from across like the party, like Damian Lewis is like, this is what's going on between them, to like somebody at the party.
Yeah.
Like she's with this guy, but she's married to Roman Polanski and stuff like that. And so they don't really, they do it from afar. They don't really have her kind of explain it, which I was kind of concerned that they were just going to do this the whole time, kind of like not make her own character and stuff like that. And well, it's interesting how it pans out. I think that's why people think it's
I hear the second half it picks up.
Her thing is probably why people think it's boring. People do think it's boring for a reason.
People are saying it's kind of aimless.
I get it. I get it. But of course we've always talked about how like anticipation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We think that's like it's very interesting the way that they deal with these characters' relationships and stuff like that. And I'm like, how are they going to converge?
Yeah. And
that was always like on my mind. I feel like now that I know, it's going to diminish second watch for sure. But for right now, I was able to carry through like no problem.
Okay, because even some of those Quentin Tarantino purists, like this is probably one of his more mixed films ever, really. Like this is one of even some of those Tarantino purists are kind of mixed on this film, and that kind of makes me nervous on one hand, but on the other hand, maybe I'm like, maybe that means I'll like it. you know. But this definitely is one of his more mixed films in terms of critical reception. So
yeah,
I'm very interested.
I understand why too.
Yeah,
but I also hope it's not because of one specific reason. So we'll get to that in a second. My friends said when they finished this movie that it kind of felt like, and this wasn't a negative towards the film. They liked the film like a decent amount. It felt like a build up to one punchline, which is kind of like what a lot of his films kind of feel like. Is they just kind of save like all of its energy for the end.
Yeah,
and they just kind of like build it up with like tension and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I can kind of see it, but I think the journey. There's a lot of moments throughout the journey that are very tense and things that I want to return to for sure. And this is why I hope that people aren't like knocking it because of this, but there's moments when you're dealing with like the Manson thing, where it kind of feels like a Rob Zombie movie. Like kind of like hillbilly like horror.
Really?
And it's like the most horror Tarantino's ever been.
Really? Ooh, okay.
But at the same time, you just said how people knock on like genre films.
Yeah.
Maybe people don't like it because of something like that. I hope that's not the case.
Right.
Maybe it's because these scenes kind of feel almost anticlimactic in a way.
Okay.
It's really hard to like talk about fully.
Right.
There's a lot of great scenes here. There's a lot of like moments that compete with his other stuff.
Okay. How's the dialogue? Like the writing?
The writing is really, it scared me at the beginning. Like I said, it's not as playful, and it's all business.
Okay.
And then I was worried, but he does know how to let loose and just kind of like live in the moment at a lot of times, which is really good. You know, some of those cinematic dialogue pieces. But everybody talked for a while like normal people, and that's something I didn't like.
Can I guess something too?
Sure.
The marketing behind this film is very interesting because they're marketing all these famous actors like Al Pacino, Dakota Fanning, Luke Perry, who plays Steve McQueen. What's his name again?
Damian Lewis.
Damian Lewis, yeah. Damian Lewis, Steve McQueen, which is a great choice, by the way.
Yeah.
They're in like one scene each, aren't they? I knew it.
Much.
I knew it.
Some of them aren't. Some of them are actually in. A couple of them that you named are in more scenes.
Kurt Russell, Bruce Lee.
I'm not gonna say it just for the sake of fun.
Okay. But were the scenes they were in, the one scenes, were they good at least?
Okay, so not really.
Okay.
So some of them not really. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
But they were kind of like a vehicle to like show how much better the leads are. Because the premise of the film is like for Leo's character is
he's
that
washed up.
He's washed up. Yeah, he needs to return to form because they're casting him as villains. And Al Pacino brings up like, hey, if people keep seeing you as a villain, they're going to like kind of like analyze you as that, and you're going to be typecast.
Yeah.
And so he's like, you got to get out of that groove. But then he's like, maybe I'll just be like the best villain, like ever, like awesome.
Yeah.
And so like there's a scene with like Luke Perry where he gets like, he's kind of like a vehicle to show how much better Leo's character can be of an actor.
Oh, okay.
So he kind of has a good job that doesn't require him to like goes like balls to the walls.
Okay.
But this is a good scene. It's a real good scene though.
All right.
There's a lot of really good scenes, and the leads in this movie are awesome. Brad Pitt, Leo, Margot Robbie's kind of underutilized as I said, probably for good reason. But they're two so fucking good, dude.
Damn.
I had a lot of fun with the movie, but I can totally see why people wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's definitely not his most consistent film.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of spotty, but those spots I think compete with some of his best moments in other movies.
Yeah.
So that's there.
All right.
Oh man, I'm kind of like I'm torn between like a solid and a high 8, man. I don't know. I really do like this movie, and I do want to see it again just to see if it holds up as well.
Okay, interesting. You know, the thing is like when I see this film with my mom, you know what? It's just because I want my mom to have a good time at the movies. Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to be really stressed out during watching this film because I bet I would really like it, or I would like it and see the merit to it much more than she would, and I would just feel really bad that she's sitting through a film she doesn't like.
Especially since it's 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yes.
But that's something I'll say. When that film ended, I was like, I knew it was about to roll credits, I'm like, Are you serious? Like, I thought there was another at least 30 to 45 minutes left.
Does that mean it ends abruptly then? Or
no, it meant like I thought it was breezy.
Oh, okay.
I thought it went by real quick.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll have to see.
I'm sorry, man. I really don't think your mom's gonna like it.
It's okay.
I think you should warn her at the very least.
Yeah, I'll tell her. I'll be like, I saw T-Kettle, and I'll you know. But anyway.
Yeah, so that's that.
Yeah, rip to Luke Perry, by the way.
Yes.
And
yeah. It was good to see him again, though.
Yeah, I bet. So I don't have anything recently seen, but can I just bring up something real quick?
Sure,
and I don't know if you're gonna witness a classic Nico rant right here. You ready?
Oh boy.
All right,
that scares me.
Twitter, being the hellscape it is, there's this political journalist who decided she wanted to get into the movie analyzing business. If you're a political commentator, first of all, you can talk about movies, but don't fucking talk about movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't dive deep into them because, okay, this is how I found out about this. There was this political journalist named Quinn Cummings, right? She went off on Tarantino and Scorsese, calling them problematic gangster films for white boys or something like that, right? And she was going off. And then she went on something saying, like, The Wolf of Wall Street is a terrible movie. Spielberg needs to find an editor who understands nuance and understands character and understands pacing. Okay, Quinn Cummings, you're talking about...
You said Spielberg.
Did I say Spielberg or Scorsese?
Spielberg.
Did I meant Scorsese and Tarantino.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad. I thought I said...
The second time you were like, Spielberg needs to find... And
no. She's like, Scorsese needs to find an editor who understands nuance, pacing, character, all that crap. I'm like, oh, you mean Thelma Schoonmaker? One of the best editors of all time? What are you talking about?
So wait, she's knocking film editing now?
She knocked Scorsese and Tarantino, first of all, and then she elaborated by saying that the editing in Scorsese's films are terrible. And I'm like, okay.
What do you know about editing?
What do you know about editing? And then other people in the industry are just going after it. Like Zach Stentz, who's a screenwriter he wrote Thor, X-Men First Class, Power Rangers, the whatever. He tweeted something. He's like, blue check marks deciding to shit on Scorsese by belittling the work of Thelma Schoonmaker, possibly our greatest living American film editor, is one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen on this website. Online film criticism has lost its collective mind. And then other people they're coming in and defending that statement because it's true. And then she had to go and be like, oh, okay, I'm not trying to belittle the work of Thelma Schoonmaker, who, by the way, broke barriers as a woman in the film industry. Her first film she ever edited was Raging Bull, by the way, which she was nominated for, one of the best edited films of all freaking time. Mm-hmm. And then now this freaking blue check mark on Twitter decides, oh, you know what? No, she doesn't understand pacing. She doesn't understand first of all, she didn't even know who she was.
Where's your resume for, like, film analysis?
Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm talking about. Political commentators... Stop trying to analyze film. You can talk about film, whatever. Don't analyze this stuff. You didn't know who Thelma Schoonmaker was until people came after you about it. You know, but then she tried to double down on it and backpedal and be like, I'm not trying to discredit her work. You know, all of a sudden I forget to put the word new in front of Scorsese needs to find an editor that understands blah, 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 blah. And film Twitter comes after me like I'm some sort of villain. And I'm like, you are the worst.
You brought it on yourself.
You brought it on yourself. You don't understand. Twitter's just full of normies who think they know what they're talking about. And it annoys me, dude. It's like, this is what's killing film criticism right here. Roger Ebert is pissed off right now because he freaking, like, here's what killed film criticism. Political commentary, be it right, left, whatever, political journalism, who feel like they need to freaking put their 2 cents into film analysis, and YouTube criticism. Those two things killed freaking film criticism, the art of film criticism. And it's quite ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's quite ridiculous. Even Liz Hannah, the filmmaker, said, Thelma Schoonmaker is one of the reasons I'm a filmmaker. Period. End of sentence. It's the truth. It's the truth. Joe Lynch. Thelma Schoonmaker is a global treasure. Thelma Schoonmaker has been evolving the craft of editing since she started slicing celluloid. Thelma Schoonmaker once wrestled wild dogs in the after-hours edit room. So essentially, don't fuck with Thelma Shoemaker. Or the dude she cuts with. Yeah, dude. She's one of the best editors of all time. And now this political journalist wants to be like, I think she doesn't understand pacing and character. I'm like, bitch, what are you talking about? You're crazy! Oh, dude, she's the girl who watches Citizen Kane and says it's boring. Like, Quinn Cummings, you're that type of person.
See, this is something that I've tried to become better at when, like, talking about stuff on, like, online or whatever. If I don't feel like something... Like, if that something's amiss, I at least like to use an example of, and, like, say why I think it's not used properly.
Exactly.
But if you're just going to say it as a blank statement, like, that's not going to work.
And then you can't back up your statement.
Yeah.
You know? And she's like, the only thing she came up with was Wolf of Wall Street was too long. I'm like, what does... Oh my god, and I've said this before, like, runtime does not dictate how good a film is. People, like, when people were talking about Endgame, they're like, it's a good movie, but it's 3 hours long. I'm like, some of the best movies of all time are 3 hours, if not over.
Sometimes longer.
Gone with the Wind, Godfather.
It's basically how they utilize that runtime.
Exactly, that's what I said. It's like, if you're saying you don't utilize it well, and the pacing is off, that's different. But just using runtime as a blanket statement and saying... oh, this film is bad because it's 3 hours.
That film is literally like it could be a 2-part film. I'm glad it's not because it'd be kind of like distasteful.
Right.
But you have like the rise part, which is literally like half the film, and then you have the fall part, which is literally half the film.
Yeah. So, dude, I don't know. Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street's great.
Yes.
So
it is great.
That's a whole other conversation I won't get into. But like,
yes.
It's just gosh, dude. I like the way Zach Sten said it. He's like these blue check marks who think they know what they're talking about, which is great. I love the way he said it, and it's so true, dude. Twitter is a hellscape, dude.
I love Twitter, man.
I hate Twitter.
I love Twitter, but I hate people. I mean, I'm gonna hate people no matter what website I'm on.
Look what's trending right now. # Christian privilege.
I don't read any of that.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't read that if I were you. It was a little bit ago, but I rewatched I watched Wreck-It Ralph 2, the second one, and one of the things in it was don't read the comments section.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Yeah.
Did you make a hot list? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make my own hot list. How does that feel, you little bitch?
Oh my gosh, dude!
We moving on to list, baby.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're moving on to the list, man. We're talking about top 5 noir films. This includes neo noir, which is noir films that back in like the 40s. The black and white, the artificial lighting, the femme fatales, the hard boiled detective stories. Good shit, man. And then the neo noir, which is like after like the 70s and after. They changed it up a little bit because they're using it in color, so obviously it doesn't have the same aesthetic. Sometimes a film will come around and it will, just to kind of like pay tribute, but they changed things up a little bit, took some liberties with the genre, and they're everywhere. Yes. So we're going to talk about some of those. And they come in all sorts of, like, I was going through like They Shoot Pictures. They have 1,000 film noir section, and they have like a little bit of everything. And some of those films, I'm like, I don't even know if I'd consider them film noir. They might have like an element or something like that, but they don't feel like a film noir film. But yeah, so I got a pretty cool list. I think so. Some stuff that we have never talked about before, which is always fun. And
I don't really got a lot. I don't really got a lot going on this list. I gotta be real with you. So you just go through your honorable mentions here. I'm
all
sorry.
Of them?
Yeah, go ahead.
Holy shit! I have 14, bro.
Oh, just go through them. Then.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Because I'm actually doing something real quick, so ignore me.
Yeah. So I mean, you can obviously like chime in if you like the film or something like that. So we're gonna start off with a neo noir film, Seven.
Yeah.
Which is like the darkest shades of humanity, man.
Yeah.
They're following a killer who's been killing people based on 7 sins, and it's got a very famous ending. It's real fucking good. These two films go hand in hand. Les Samurai and Drive. which is like probably the coolest examples of like neo-noir films, and Les Samurai is a very famous French noir film.
So like this is a list that kind of it can be like any type of noir basically.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to send that to you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Next up, we have The Killing from Stanley Kubrick, which is kind of like a hybrid of like a heist film and a noir film. And especially for its time, I felt like that ending was very bitter.
Yeah.
It was really good, though. Real good. Don't need to really talk about this one too much because I bring it up literally all the time. Mulholland Drive. Also Blade Runner while we're at it.
Yeah.
You know, that's definitely there.
Yeah.
But another one of his films that I really don't get to talk about too much is Blue Velvet. And I think that's like a very, very good, streamlined noir film.
Yeah.
Definitely not his more intricate films, but definitely I think it's one of his better paced films, and like it's a very good starting point for Lynch, I think.
Okay. Nice. Go ahead, keep going. I don't got really any honorable mentions.
We got The Third Man, which I've brought up a bunch.
Yep.
Probably like that's like got the best villain almost like ever put to screen.
Yeah.
He's so good, especially with the Swiss cuckoo clock conversation that he does. It's like it's got its own Wikipedia segment for just that scene. Next up, Chinatown.
Yo, wow! I'm surprised it's not on your list.
Dude, Chinatown, I think still has 7B on probably like the most fucked up ending from a noir film.
Damn.
But there's like there's absolute purpose behind it. No, it's not. This movie definitely deserves a rewatch to be on my list. But I think my list is real fucking solid. I'm gonna be honest with you. But of course, it's my list, so of course I feel that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Next one, I never really can. I mean, I guess I consider this to be noir, but like I wasn't gonna put it on here until I saw it on the list. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. And that's Vertigo.
Oh yeah, okay.
Would you consider that
a noir kind of?
Very strong emphasis on the femme fatale.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think it's really that movie is very interesting because you know it's not black and white, but I think as purposeful as the lighting can be and how much lighting can say in film noir, I think the same can be said about color in Vertigo.
Yeah.
So they just replaced that the use of color is like really strong in a lot of scenes. Next up, we got two that go hand in hand. You Only Live Once and Scarlet Street, which are both Fritz Lang's take on noir films.
Right.
Apparently, that's not his best. Those aren't his best work, but they're very good. Actually, You Only Live Once has Henry Fonda in it as the lead. It's very good. This is okay. So this next one is. I feel like this is the rule book, the essential rule book on film noir, and that's Detour. I think it's very straightforward, very very blunt, and it does everything that they should do, pretty much. And then for the last two, they're kind of like on a fine line for these for the genre. I think. First up, we got M, which is another Lang film. But I consider that film to be like the first psychological thriller probably ever made.
Okay.
It's got a really crazy ending, especially for its time period. Like, wow, I didn't really think you could do something like that. But the best part about it is before criminology was even a thing, this film comes out and it really just narrows in on a lot of the characteristics of killers. And when in the 60s that... had really become like a science. You kind of see that a lot of the things that the film said were like spot on. So that's really awesome for sure. 30 years before its time. And the last one I have is No Country for Old Men. Okay,
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that too. I saw it on the list and I'm like, you know what? I can kind of see it. Man, does that film for M to show this is how a serial killer operates. This film shows the complete opposite, and its killer has no pattern. He's probably the most unique villain, maybe ever. Very, very cool. And that film just really makes some bold choices with its story beats. So I love No Country for Old Men.
Yeah. All right. So sorry, I had to go in on this.
Yeah.
This hashtag Christian privilege bullshit.
Ooh, is that what you were doing?
Oh yeah, I put in my 2 cents because I know what I'm talking about. As a guy who's actually read the Bible, I feel like I might actually have some stuff to throw in this conversation. And by the way, they spell privilege wrong. If you're gonna attack Christians on Twitter, at least spell privilege right. Oh my gosh, Priviledge.
There's no vowels in between that.
Why look? Fucking hate Twitter. Okay. Okay.
Well, that was the end of my honorable mention.
Yes.
So,
All right. Best neo noir. All right.
Or noir, just noir.
Or noir in general.
Yes.
Or noir in general. I gotta be real with you, man. I have not seen a lot of noir films.
Okay.
In general.
Okay.
So a lot of it might be more neo-noir for me, but I'm gonna try, okay? I've been meaning to just boost my noir. I actually just bought The Fade Out by Ed Brubaker, that graphic novel. Mm-hmm. It's like one of the best, apparently, noir graphic novels out there. So I'm trying to really get into it, and into it more.
Yeah.
My number 5 is L.A. Confidential.
Okay.
With Kevin Spacey, Guy Pearce, Nicole Kidman, all those guys. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember really loving it when I saw it. So, yeah. And by the way, I meant Kim Basinger, not Nicole Kidman. Sorry, I get those two mixed up. Also, Russell Crowe is in it. I really love the directing and the style of this film. This one is probably the most noir kind of film. It very much pays tribute to the old school noir films of like the 40s and 30s and 40s. Mm-hmm. And so the style is a lot more noir, but people are calling it a neo-noir, so I guess I would have to classify it as that. Yeah. I just really like that.
Pretty much everything that's like comes out after the 70s.
Yeah, it really...
Like, it really doesn't even matter.
I remember L.A. Being like a real character in this film. And it tells the story, I got the thing up here just so I can be more fluent with it. It tells the story of a group of LAPD officers in 1953 and the intersection of police corruption and Hollywood celebrity. I mean, if that doesn't sound like a noir movie, I don't know what does. So, I remember really loving this film. So that had to be my number 5.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it?
I actually have not.
It's a good one. You should watch it.
I definitely have it on my list.
It's really good. Mm-hmm.
We'll get there.
Yep.
My number 5 is Orson Welles' A Touch of Evil.
Okay, yeah, that's one I actually haven't seen. I've seen the opening shot, obviously.
The opening shot is so good.
And, they ruined it, too, because they put credits over it. So there's like
I have the reconstructed version.
Yeah, there's like 4 different versions of it.
Yeah.
Why does Hollywood always want to take amazing filmmakers and just destroy their vision, dude? I don't get it.
I don't either.
Anyway. Touch of Evil.
Yes, it's fucking awesome. One thing that I think makes a very good noir film is definitely the writing. Like, you have to have complex characters.
Yeah.
Because they're basically anti-heroes.
Yeah.
For most of it. And sometimes a little bit more than that. Sometimes your main character can be a villain. But in this film, it's kind of interesting because you see during the long take, somebody plants a bomb in a car. And this takes place between the border of United States and Mexico. Mm-hmm. And the bomb goes off in the United States, but people, especially the cop or the detective that's investigating it from the U.S., he definitely thinks, and you cannot change his mind, that it came from Mexico. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of becomes like a blame game. And kind of like a morality questionnaire for yourself. It kind of lets you participate, definitely, making your own judgments. And I really like some of these smaller characters that really don't have any purpose in the film's plot, that just kind of like show up, and it really narrows in on the theme of injustice, because it has like a blind woman who has a sign that says something like. If you're mean enough to steal from the blind, help yourself. Uh-huh. And I really like a lot of these small characters that exist in the movie. Mm-hmm. And it's just a really cool like mystery that ends up becoming like a question for yourself to decide who really is the villain of this thing.
Cool.
Because it's a movie that really lives up to the title, A Touch of Evil. Everyone has a touch of evil, but some have it more than others.
Did you watch all versions, or how many versions?
There's actually the one that I have just has the theatrical and the reconstructed.
Okay.
I don't think there's that many more versions.
Okay, because I remember Brendan has a Blu-ray of it, and it has all these different versions. It might just be those two. I'm not sure. I don't recall, but
yeah, I definitely watched that version because that's the.
You haven't watched the theatrical one?
Fuck no.
Yeah, I heard it's bad, but I would like to compare the two. It would be pretty interesting.
I always wanted to do that, but like I feel like some movies like.
True.
What's the point?
True. All right, my number 4 is one of the most stylized neo-noir films of all time, directed by one of the most influential directors for me, personally, because he really helped me evolve my filmmaking style, and that's Robert Rodriguez, Sin City. That is one of the most stylized, like, noir films I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And it is crazy. I mean, what more could you say about Sin City?
Have you read the graphic novel?
I have not.
I was about to ask, like, how does it compare?
I hear it compares like exceptionally well, because what Robert Rodriguez did was he took Frank Miller's graphic novel almost beat for beat, and that's why he filmed it mostly on green screen, was because he wanted to experiment and say, let's take this noir graphic novel and literally translate it page per page on the big screen.
Yeah.
And he did. There's voiceover, it's black and white, there's selective color, there's it's an anthology that with multiple intertwining storylines. It's a bit dark for your typical noir. A lot of blood.
Yeah.
A lot of stylized kind of genre moments here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it captivates you.
All these characters have like superpowers too, it seems like.
Oh yeah, no, but it's so stylized. Like if you want to see a stylized movie, this is it. And I thought, but it's so cool and it was so unique. And for its time, for 2005, it was groundbreaking and it was original. No one has seen anything like that before at that time.
What did you think of the sequel?
I haven't seen it.
Really?
Brian really likes it. He says it's really good.
We saw it together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. He the thing is that the hype for a Sin City sequel died down at that time, because it was like 10 years, right? It was like 2015 when it came out. I remember people were clamoring for a sequel when it came out in 2005, but I think it was too little too late at that point from a public perspective.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, we've seen this before, blah, blah, blah. So it might have just been like a wrong place, wrong time to release it.
We, if I remember correctly, it was just us in the theater.
Really? Yeah. The hype for it was done. It was over. But overall, what did you think of it? Because I know Brian really liked it.
I like it. I like it. It's not as good, but it's pretty comparable. The main story, the one that takes place like the longest amount of time, is easily the weakest though. But some of the smaller ones are really good.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I hear they replaced Clive Owen with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Is that true, or is he just a different guy?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt is a different character.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Okay. No, I got you. All right. Or no, Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin plays Clive Owen's character.
Yes.
Yeah, that's who it is.
Yes.
Is there a reason for that, or was it just a recast?
It's a recast.
Oh, okay.
They also because of Michael Clark Duncan passed away, they recast him as the guy from Allstate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
That was actually a cool choice.
Yeah. He was in Goodfellas, wasn't he? The Allstate guy for like a second?
I don't remember. I've seen that movie a bunch. I don't remember that.
He was only there he was like a cook. I can't remember.
Then yeah, maybe yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's my number 4.
So my number 4 is probably the most like renowned one of all time, I guess.
Double Indemnity.
No. Neo Noir.
Oh.
Taxi Driver.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So Taxi Driver is.
Well. Can I just stop you right there?
What's up?
My number 2 is Taxi Driver.
Your number 2?
Yeah. So I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
I thought I was on number 3, but I'm not. I totally skipped over one. Spoiler alert!
Spoiler! Yeah. I was
like,
wait, what are we doing?
Yep.
So yeah, Taxi Driver it's awesome. If you want, I'll let you.
Yeah, no, I was figuring we could talk about it together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's another really good character piece one.
It is, and it's interesting to see the mindscape of Martin Scorsese at the time, who, by the way, is one of the best filmmakers of all time. And he also has one of the best editors of all time, just saying. No, it's interesting to see like his mindscape at the time, and it's easy to look back, especially for people who have never lived through that time period, and we just experience it through film and stuff. We look back at, you know, the 70s or 80s or whatever with rose-tinted glasses. Mm-hmm. It's really cool to see a perspective of the 70s that was like, no, dude, this fucking sucked. You know what I mean? Like, the world at that time was not a good place. And it was interesting to see that type of mentality on film, which was something that we didn't see before. It was dark, it was gritty. And I like how the film, by the way, like, really adds to the grittiness. Because I think it was shot on, like, it might have been 35, but also 16, I believe. And you can see it. It's like, that grain really adds to, like, the griminess of that film. Yeah. And the score by Bernard Herrmann is...
It's so good.
So good.
Yeah, I agree with what you say about that, the time period and stuff. I really see the 70s as kind of like a reconstruction era after the 60s, because the 60s really just psychologically damaged us, and I think it really shows in this character who, you know, he was in the war and stuff like that, and when he comes back, he's got this like faulty wiring, who thinks that he needs to save everybody.
He does. He's almost like an anti-hero.
Yeah, he's been brainwashed.
Yeah. I know I always got to relate shit to comic books, and I'm sorry. But I think there's an issue of Before Watchmen that's interesting. Brian told me about it. I don't know if this is true because I've never seen it. But Rorschach goes into a cab one day and he's talking to the taxi driver about how he's disenfranchised with the world and how the world is becoming. Mm-hmm. And then it's revealed that the taxi driver is Travis Bickle. Oh. Yeah, so... It was kind of...
There's like a similar conversation in the movie too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That, I mean, I could see that. Doesn't Brian? I'm pretty sure he has all of the Watchmen anyway.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
So he
would
know. I think
the philosophy of someone like Rorschach is very similar to Travis Bickle, so that's probably why they did it. It was really cool how Travis Bickle tried to like he was trying to look for the light in the dark of the world that was surrounding him. And it doesn't help that being a taxi driver, you see the worst of humanity all the time. You know, you're riding around the city at night and you're just seeing all this garbage happening. And he's trying to find a sense of normalcy with
that woman.
With that woman, I can't remember who plays her, but you know, that woman. And he's like, okay, the senator's maybe gonna do something. The senator's gonna like finally change the way things are. And then he realizes that nope, that senator is just as corrupt and terrible as everyone else. You know. Mm-hmm. And it's a really interesting psychologically kind of character study on someone like that.
Yes.
So,
yes, took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, not just a character study on Travis Bickle, but a character study on just society.
Yes.
At that time.
Yeah. There's definitely like two characters in it.
It's the society. Yeah, society is a huge character in that, and it's interesting how he takes Jodie Foster, who this is her first role ever. I didn't know that was Jodie Foster until after I watched that film, by the way, because she does not look... I mean, obviously she's 12, but she does not look like Jodie Foster, you know? And it's interesting how he kind of like... He's like, I want to finally do something right, but it's like... You know, it's interesting. It's vigilantism, basically.
Yeah. I really love the ending of this film.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely love it.
It's great. Mm-hmm.
So, your number 3.
My number 3 is Memento. I already talked about this film last time when we talked about the Mind F movies. It's... I don't even know. I mean, I already explained everything I like about the film. It's told in a really creative format. It's told backwards and forwards at the same time. And eventually it all converges. It's definitely a neo-noir. It's kind of a gray area. But I feel like there's voiceover and there's black and white elements to it. You know, noir literally means like black and white. Mm-hmm. So, not that noir films have to be black and white, but, you know, it helps. And it's really cool to see this guy kind of go through life having to, like, tattoo clues on him. And, like, he's trying to figure out this mystery while his memory is lost half the time.
Yeah.
So he has to, like, restart every day. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't really know what to say because I already talked about it to death the last time we talked about it. So
that's how I feel about a lot of these movies.
Yeah, that's right.
Not as much on this one. I feel like there's a lot of films on here that like I have not talked about.
Yeah, yeah. But Memento, I have talked about.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave it at that. It's good. It's great. You should watch it. Christopher Nolan. Yeah. Speaking of Christopher Nolan, I had this thought yesterday. Sorry to change the subject a little bit. You like Dunkirk, right?
Yeah.
I like Dunkirk too. But you know what kind of bothered me about that film? You know how, like, it seemed really, like, I don't want to say low budget, but it was interesting how, I mean, have you seen what Dunkirk looked like at that time? It was, like, destroyed. Mm. So it's weird how, like, it wasn't destroyed, like, at all in that film.
You mean, like, the beach?
Like, the beach, the town, like, with the first shot when they're, like, walking through the town, like, everything's, like, fine. Like,
maybe this is, like, before that.
Was it before that?
Maybe.
I don't know, because have you ever seen Atonement or whatever?
Atonement, no.
Oh, okay.
I'm very familiar with that famous long take.
That famous long take at Dunkirk, and that's more of what it was like than the Dunkirk. So I was wondering, I'm like, how come maybe they just didn't have the budget to literally destroy the beach and destroy the city? But I mean,
I'm sure he had the budget. I'm gonna be real. I'm sure.
Yeah, I was confused. I'm like, why did they make that choice? It was interesting.
I mean, like, it wasn't. It's not like after.
It was a very minimalist film. Dunkirk,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very interesting storytelling in that one.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is I don't really need to talk about it that much either because I talked about them both. It's films that go hand in hand because they're both Billy Wilder. That's Sunset Boulevard and Double Indemnity.
Yeah.
But for Sunset Boulevard, that film just has like kind of a special place in my heart because that was like the film that got me into film noir.
Yeah.
So it could have been really like anything else. I mean, Double Indemnity, if I had seen that one earlier, I probably would have liked that movie a lot more than Sunset Boulevard, but I kind of I give the edge to Sunset Boulevard just because.
So Sunset Boulevard is your number 2? I thought you said that as
my number 3.
Or 3? I thought that was an honorable mention. Didn't you say Sunset Boulevard?
No. You said that during Chinatown.
Oh, Chinatown. That's what it was. My bad.
Oh, yeah.
My bad. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I've talked about it, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you did your number 2 already.
So you can...
okay, I'm really sorry. Something tells me this is gonna be your number 1, and I'm so sorry.
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
Yeah.
My number 2 is like probably like the most popular one ever. Casablanca.
Yeah, I don't really consider Casablanca a noir though.
Really?
Really?
Everyone else seems to.
Yeah, I don't really consider it a noir. That's why it's not on my list.
Oh, okay.
I consider it more of like a romance, like.
I mean, it is. I see that film as like a very like inverted version of it. Like it's not like the femme fatale really just leaves this man as like an empty shell.
Yeah.
It's different than like they cause him physical harm.
Mm-hmm. They've
caused him like emotional harm, and that's made him this like character that he is today.
Yeah.
And he's got this really like rough exterior, but inside like he's doing something very admirable.
Yeah.
With it.
I just looked it up on Wikipedia because I was curious how they classified it, and they classify it as a romantic drama.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did that for a lot of movies. This is again on the 1,000 noir list.
Okay, yeah.
They have a lot of stuff that maybe I don't consider, but I can see it. I can see an argument being made.
I can see that. Since I mean, I'm not like saying it's not you shouldn't use it or anything. I'm just I wouldn't consider it noir. That's why it's not my number 1.
All right, that's fair. Mm-hmm. See, this is gonna be interesting for my number 1 then, because my number 1 is also something that I really never even thought of until I saw it on the list. I'm like, oh, I gotta put it on there.
Okay.
So you know what? I feel like we've talked about Casablanca before. Yeah. So I think we're good on that. A little bit. I think we're good on that.
Yeah,
so
maybe a little bit.
I think you could.
Yeah, not that much.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's not like we're Cinefix and we're talking about like The Mirror or something.
Yeah,
like
that's right. That's right. Well. This next film I could literally just say the name and nothing else because of how much we've talked about it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So
my number 1 is Blade Runner.
Okay.
That's it. I'm not even gonna elaborate, dude. I'm not even gonna elaborate. How many times have we talked about Blade
Runner? Yeah, I know. I get it. We do love that movie. Though.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna. Nope. Just that Blade Runner.
Okay. Well, this is a movie that I'm so glad that we did this list because I get to talk about it because I've never talked about it.
Okay, this is interesting.
So, this is a film that was recommended to me when I was in the Florida group. and blew my fucking mind.
Yes.
And that is Shock Corridor.
Shock Corridor.
Do you know about this movie?
I've never even heard of this movie.
This movie is from Samuel Fuller, who is a very underrated American director. This film, this premise, get this premise. Don't read it.
All right, I'm not reading it.
Look at me. This premise is so good. It's about a guy who is like a journalist, and he wants to win the Nobel Prize by solving a murder that happened a long time ago, and the primary suspect is in a mental asylum, and so he goes undercover in this mental asylum to solve this murder.
That sounds freaking awesome.
It's amazing.
That sounds dope.
I was not going to put this on here, even though it feels like a noir. It'd be like a late noir because it's like 63.
Yeah, I looked at the poster. Yeah, it looked very 60s.
Yeah, it did not have to be in black and white, but it was definitely an aesthetic choice. This film is awesome. So you're dealing with the mental asylum thing. The acting in this thing is just really good. It's like it's kind of like what is that movie? One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
Kind of that like looseness and that the way Peter Breck walks around and stuff, it's like brings a new level of just like casual to a performance.
Yeah.
And this is a really interesting film, the way that they do exposition. First of all, he kind of stumbles around this asylum and kind of like looks through rooms to discover like new things, and everything is like exciting and mysterious. You never know what you're gonna find. Like he walks into one room, and this is like the coolest room in the entire movie.
Yeah.
So, but like it's like three girls that are dressed up like French New Wave, like the black and white stripes, and they're walking around him. They're like sirens, and they're doing this like weird like French New Wave like very minimal choreographed dance thing before like basically assaulting him.
Okay.
Like sexually.
Wow.
And it's like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Every room, it's like that kind of level of like, what are you going to see next? What are they really going to do?
So there's like suspense there too.
There's definitely suspense, man.
That's awesome.
And then additionally, like there's some really good writing in these side characters. So a lot of these characters, they really don't know what's going on because they've lost their marbles. But then they have like moments of clarity where they can like tell their story, like why they ended up here and stuff like that. And they're very, very sympathetic characters.
Huh. And
this is. It's just so good. It's definitely like a psychological thriller, and like the way that it's directed, it kind of feels like Inception, and how like the building kind of changes depending on the mental state of this character, as opposed to like the dream world or whatever. It's very dreamy, the qualities of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this character, the main character, he's an anti-hero character, I guess. I gotta recommend it to you. You gotta see it.
Yeah, I want to see it. It sounds amazing.
Yes.
All right.
So Shock Corridor.
Shock Corridor.
One of my favorite films.
Nice. Well, that's it, guys. That's it. You have anything, or
do I have anything as
a bookend, or?
Yeah, actually, I do. I don't know how we're going to get this to work, but we talked about Zombieland.
Oh, right.
Time to nut up or...
That's great.